Yo, what's going on, guys? Back with another video today. Um, so last night was a good one. Um, Honestly, like really like average night, I guess you could say for everybody. We finished with 349. I believe that cash and multipliers 50/50s. I actually didn't play any of those last night, so I'm actually not sure. But as you can see here, we came 11,000 out of 40,000. So I only played the free one last night. That's mostly what I've been doing lately. But yeah, we did pretty well. 349, very respectable score. We had Luca who had about 50. That's about what I expected, honestly. 47% owned. I knew he'd be up there. Austin Rivers, 13% owned, had got us 34. I was surprised to see that number so low, as it was released that he was starting. So I'm not sure if people just didn't think that he was going to perform well or what, but got 21 points, 4 rebounds, a steal, 2 blocks, and an assist, only 2 turnovers. So really good night for a guy who was, what, 3,600 for us? Yeah, 3,600. So really nice play there. DeMar DeRozan, actually, he took a while to get going, honestly. I was kind of nervous about him at the beginning of the night, but he ended up turning around nicely at the end, closed out very nicely. Ended up getting 49 and a half. Very happy with that. Now look at this Jimmy Butler. So he was 5% owned. Now obviously the news came very late that he was going to play. So a lot of people didn't want to take a risk on that. So as you can see, only 5% of people actually kept him in there. And I ended up keeping him in, and he got 40. So I'm happy with that. I was sweating it out because I was going to have to change up the whole lineup if he didn't play. Put in a new shooting guard, and I was going to put Bam down here. But yeah, he ended up playing, so it ended up turning out very well. Chetty, not a great night from Chetty. Now it was reported that Kevin Porter did return last night, which did take a little bit away from Chetty, but I believe Porter only played like 10 or 12 minutes or something like that. So it really wasn't that. It was just Chetty wasn't shooting yesterday. As you see, he only got 7 points. But I mean, 21 isn't, an absolutely killer score. A lot of guys played Hartenstein last night, who only got, I think, 10. So I'm okay with having 21 our lowest score here, honestly. Eric Gordon, oh my God, he had 50 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Now, obviously, he was highly owned because his price was 4,400. We knew he would be a big part of the offense. I did not expect this though. I was expecting maybe 30 to 40, and to put up almost 70 was just awesome. This is probably the guy that ended up, really helping you guys cash yesterday. Was Eric Gordon. Did a fantastic job, obviously. That was way beyond what I expected from him, so that was awesome. And then these guys down here, meh, they did okay. Trey Lyles actually did a lot better than a lot of people expected, getting 24. 24, it's an average score, but I mean, we paid, what, 3,600 for him? I'll take 24 from a 3,600 guy. Thaddeus, I was hoping for a little more, honestly. With no Aldridge, I thought he was going to have a really nice matchup here. But only scoring 13, it just hurt because he's usually a guy that gets blocks and steals, and he didn't get any yesterday. So, I mean, that 27 is without blocks and steals. So, not his worst game in terms of points and rebounds, but I was really expecting to see something better from him yesterday with no Aldridge. And then Towns just went so cold the later part of this game. Obviously, we all know Minnesota collapsed at the end there. But Towns really went cold. I think he may have went on a string with 6 to 7 missed field goals in a row. All you could see on the feed was Karl-Anthony Towns misses a 3, Karl-Anthony Towns misses a driving layup. It was really bad. I checked in on him in the third quarter. He was at this 23-8-3 number in the third quarter. He didn't do any scoring after that, so that was a really rough time. Obviously, Jakob Poeltl ended up being a really nice value here at the center position. But you know what? I'll take this 349 for sure. Reason I didn't win, obviously, is because I was in the free tournament, so only a very small percentage win, as you can see from the line here. 451 was the line. but I know the lines for most 50-50s was about right around 340, 350. So should have been a nice cash there. Anyway, let's get into tonight. So upcoming tonight, it's an 8-game slate tonight. So I'm actually going to go over to RotoWire here real quick just to show you guys. This is the page I actually use. I'm going to refresh this real quick. I was looking at this morning. This is the page I use to look at starting lineups and stuff. Definitely make sure you check it out because it's actually really nice. They update it really quick. Obviously, it's through rotor and stuff, but it has all sports too, so it's a really nice way in lineups. Obviously, some of this stuff is for me only, so like projections, like I actually haven't explored the website too much myself. I've mostly been using the daily lineup page, but really cool website. Definitely should check it out. So this page is actually nice because it has the expected lineups, and I'm so dumb. Yesterday I forgot to mention that it actually has the over-unders too, so I actually did know the over-unders. I just had blanked on it in the video. But obviously you can see in this Golden State Philly game, Joel Embiid actually is slated to make his return tonight. I'm not actually sure if that's 100%. I think he's still able to game time decision here, but I think he's actually probable. So that could be an interesting look into tonight. Obviously, might want to fade Al Horford if Embiid does come back because that will obviously limit Al Horford. But Philly Golden State over under is at 213.5. On the lower side of the slate, but Philly should have no problem here against Golden State, especially if Embiid returns. Charlotte, New York, this is the lowest over under on the slate at 209. Just two really gross teams here, honestly. The only guy I really like in this one is probably Devontae Graham. But other than that, I don't really like anyone here. Julius Randle, okay matchup, honestly, going against the bigs of Charlotte. But like I'll get into the specific players once I get to my lineups. New Orleans, Cleveland, over under at 232. So this is definitely a game you want to look at. No, we're not going with Chetty tonight. Going against Brandon Ingram, that's not a good matchup for him. But a really nice over under there. Atlanta, very similar, 232.5. So they actually have an extra half. This is a really interesting matchup. I really like this a lot. It should be a really nice game to target. Boston, Miami at 216. I actually don't really like this matchup as much as a lot of the other ones, just because the Celtics are so balanced on offense. The only guy that looks like is going to miss is Tatum again. But I mean, if you look at the teams here, they're very balanced in it's just really hard to figure out who's going to be the one to do it. The only I really do like in terms of matchup in this game is Bam. Again, I'll talk a bit more about it. For Washington, Milwaukee, this is 241, so it's actually the highest on the slate. Interesting game here, but it is a risky one to play, knowing that Milwaukee could be in blowout here. So be very careful about this one, even though it is the highest over under and probably the most attractive. Giannis is obviously going to have a high ownership tonight, but definitely be careful of playing for the blowout. Denver, Memphis, 225. Not a lot to love here, to be honest with you. Very similar teams in terms of their makeup, good bigs, meh in between guys, and then good points. So not a huge fan of that game. Phoenix, Dallas. This one's actually a really interesting one to me. 227 over there. So it's still actually on the higher side of this slate, but not as high as obviously some of the other games here. Couple guys in here I like too, but again I'll go over that later. But this is just to take a look at the page, see the over-unders and stuff, get a first look. So let's go over here to Fanduel, which is apparently still loading. I don't know how this is still loading. I apologize, but while we're waiting, be sure to like and subscribe on the video if you want to see more content going forward. Here's a lineup now. We're up to 20 subs now, so hoping to grow that number a bit more. But I appreciate the support from you guys. From the past couple days, obviously I just got started up again, so just seeing the number climb is really nice to me, knowing that I'm actually releasing decently good content videos. If you guys have any suggestions, definitely let me know below. What you want to see in these videos. I don't know what's going on with my computer right now. I apologize for it being really slow. But while we're waiting, like I said, I really appreciate the support. Apparently, this page isn't going to load. I really appreciate the support. Views have been up from previous times that I've actually attempted to get this channel going. And I think some of it has to do with the format, and some of it has to do with me actually getting the videos out early enough so people can actually see them. As I mentioned 2 days ago, I had a video that had 138 views. Yesterday, it had more of it's funny because on YouTube it says 30, but when I click on the video it says 50, so I'm not really sure what the number is there. But either way, I really appreciate you guys taking a watch of my videos. So let's get into the lineup here. So first guy I have here is Trae Young, going against Toronto tonight. High scoring game. Should be a really nice one for both teams. Definitely could see you playing Kyle Lowry or Fred VanVleet. I actually had them in my lineup for a little bit this morning, but I did end up switching them out just in terms of salary. Obviously, Trae Young had 71. Obviously the day that Kobe passed, sadly, really dedicated that game to Kobe. And that was a really awesome showing from him. And then obviously he's just a guy that can score a lot. I mean, as you can see from these last 3 games, there's 60, 68, 54, 71. Obviously has the potential to have an off shooting game, but even then, still fills up the stat sheet quite nicely. Really like Trae Young. I think he's a really safe spend up option. Also, Luka's here in this slate, but I like Trae Young for the high scoring game in this one. Taking a risk here, going Terry Rozier against the Knicks. Now, I know I said I didn't really like this matchup other than Devontae Graham, but with the Charlotte guards, they're actually pretty good in terms of putting up numbers. Now, obviously, Terry Rozier a bit more risky in terms of his output. Obviously, 28, 17, 40, and 37. But now, if you look, they're playing the New York Knicks, right? All guards have a lot of success against the New York Knicks. And Terry Rozier, this just feels like a really good game for him and Devontae Graham. And they play the minutes. I'm not worried about the minutes at all. So these guys should have a really good night. Only 6,100 for Terry Rozier. I'm playing a lot of the mid game today. So I really like Terry Rozier in this lineup tonight. So it's actually funny. The way I have this lineup right now is I have the 2 guards from Atlanta and the 2 guards from Charlotte. So next we'll get into Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter, he's actually been a very interesting story this year. Obviously had that injury at the beginning of the year. Has been fighting his way back and is doing so very, very nicely. He's a guy who's only priced at 4.9, but I mean, you look at his recent games here, and other than this Detroit game, he's been doing very, very nicely. A lot in the 30 and the 20s, but obviously he has that 50-point upside where he can absolutely go off. So he had 23, 15, and 8 against Phoenix. Just a really, really consistent type of a player, other than obviously that 2-point game. But he only played 23 minutes in that one. Not really sure what happened here. He might have been hurt. I'm not really sure. But other games here, as you can see, he's been really consistent. Really good looks. You even look further, and he's still getting high 30s, low 40s. So Kevin Huerter, I really like him tonight. Him and Trae Young should do a really nice job in the backcourt. Devontae Graham. So Devontae Graham, actually, very interestingly, is now down to 6,400. If you remember at the beginning of the season, he was a guy who was up at the 8K range. He was doing a lot of scoring, but it seems like he's cooled off a little bit in terms of his price. But, I mean, you can still see he has those flashes, 33, 47, 45, 52. I mean, he's still a very, very talented player. Again, going against the Knicks tonight, which is a really good matchup for guards in general. And he's just a guy that's a really good assist guy as well. So not only can he score, but he can dish the ball very nicely. Really like Devontae Graham tonight going against the Knicks. Next, we'll get into our small forwards. So Tobias Harris. So I know I did mention that this was an interesting matchup just because I do believe that Philly could blow out Golden State. But Tobias Harris is definitely a guy who's going to play good minutes. He's going to score. As you can see from his recent games here, 40 and a 43 in his last 2. But he has that 50, 60-point upside, which is really nice about him. Price is 7.4. Averages about 35 fantasy points per game. Tobias Harris going against Golden State is a really nice matchup here. really like Tobias Harris tonight. Next, we'll go to Kelly Oubre, who's priced at 6,800. So now the Suns are really starting to, taking their identity now that DeAndre Ayton's back. And they're just a really good all-around scoring team. But obviously not great on defense. So that's what makes this Dallas Phoenix game very interesting. So Oubre in his last two, 37 and a 45. Obviously he has 60-point upside as he showed against Charlotte here. But he's also a guy that, could put up a dud. So that could really help his ownership in terms of, whether people think that this is going to be a dud night, whether they think it's going to be a good night. I think it's a good night for Kelly Oubre. I like Kelly Oubre tonight going against Dallas. Next, we'll go to the power forward position. So we have Bam Adebayo here, priced down at 7.9. So I was actually really surprised to see his price this low. Obviously, he recorded a triple-double last night. Had a very good game going against Orlando. Played 32 minutes, put up 49 fantasy points, put up 40 the game before. So honestly, this one game, if this is why he's priced down at 7.9, you look at the rest of the numbers here. 7.9 is a fantastic price to pay for Bam Adebayo. I don't know what Fanduel was doing here. The guy averages a double-double, and they're pricing him below 8K. So this is definitely a really nice play here. And with Tatum expected to miss, the only guy to really guard Bam, and obviously Cantor's out too, it's going to be Daniel Tice and then Grant Williams. And that's a really good matchup for Bam. So I really like Miami tonight for Bam. Really like him in that matchup. Next, we'll go to a power forward position, Larry Nance. So this is another matchup in the Cleveland-New Orleans game. Really like Larry Nance coming off the bench. He's done really well. Had a double-double in, 2 out of his last 3 out of his last 4. Obviously, yesterday was a very emotional day for him. But he came out and played 23 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. So he's a guy that fills up the stat sheet quite nicely. Now, the reason that, he can hit those 40-point upsides if he plays enough minutes, right? So going against New Orleans, now it is a tougher matchup now that Zion is there. But I still really like Larry Nance because he comes off the bench, right? Zion is still playing only like 25 to 28 minutes. He played 28 against the Celtics. So Larry Nance is going to have a lot of time on the court when Zion's not there, which really helps him out in terms of rebounding, putback, layups, stuff like that. Really like Larry Nance in this matchup, only at price of 5.4. Really like Larry Nance here in this high-scoring game. And then lastly, we'll go to the center position. So center position, bit of an interesting spot tonight, but I really like Marc Gasol here. He's only priced at 5K, going against a weak Atlanta team. Obviously, they do have John Collins, but other than that, there's not really a lot of big bodies in there. So now, if you look at his averages, he actually does not have very good averages here. But obviously, he missed a lot of time. Look at all this time that he missed. So I really like him here just because he's very balanced in terms of points and rebounds. He's not a guy that's going to get a ton of blocks or steals, but at 5K, if he puts up a 30, I'm very happy with that. Obviously, he does have 40-point upside. So, a big boom game for him. But, if you look at his numbers here, he's very consistent. He's consistently in that 20 to 25 to 30 range, and even before he got hurt, he was scoring up 47, 41, 44. So I really like Marc Gasol here. I think he's still just trying to get back in the flow of the offense. I think it should be a really good matchup for him. Going against Bruno Fernando tonight, if Bruno Fernando goes. Really like Marc Gasol here. So this is the lineup as of right now, guys. I know it's early still, so we could still have some news that comes out. And if there is any injury news, as you saw from my Twitter last night, I will retweet everything that I see in terms of what pertains to this lineup. So, if Trae Young has a night off or whatever, I'll make sure to tweet that out to you guys. So make sure to follow me on Twitter at Fantasy Talk Show. But yeah, I'm really active over there, especially right around game lock time. So be sure to follow me there. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Comment if you feel like you have a suggestion or anything like that for the videos going forward. Or if you just want to talk about basketball, because I'm very open to talking to you guys about it. If you think there's maybe a guy that you think fits better in the lineup, definitely feel free to, I'll have a conversation with you. And if I if I think you're right on something, then maybe we'll make a switch. So feel free to reach out. I really appreciate you guys giving me the support lately. We'll try to really get more consistency on the time that I get this video out. I'm hoping to usually get it out before noon because my classes are usually pretty early, so I can usually do that. Fridays are the only days where I'm a bit tough on that because I do have one afternoon class on Friday. But other than that, we should be able to get the videos out before noon. As you can see right now, it's 11, so I got some time. So I'm going to start uploading the video right after this. So please make sure you like and subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys later.